Great to be here with you all. As Sarah mentioned, I'm Neil Redding. I'm the head of product at Auki Labs. And we're going to talk about why AR is the inevitable future of commerce. Now, I don't use the term inevitable lightly, and I imagine you don't either. So the bar is kind of high here, even if you're already a zealot, you're already in, right? So let's jump in. Now, Auki Labs is a spatial positioning company. We're building a decentralized, collaborative spatial computing protocol. We call it the Pose Mesh, and I'll describe more about this in a minute. But first, why is a spatial positioning company here speaking to a retail, e-commerce, and advertising audience? Fair question, right? To explain, I'd like to tell a little brief story about the near future. And it's a bit sci-fi. Is that okay with people? Awesome. So Auki Labs headquarters is in Hong Kong, which looks something like this. And dozens of other cities in Southeast Asia do as well. And these cities are collectively home to over 1 billion people. And of course, there are major projects in Saudi Arabia and other nations to create similar kinds of cities, like Neom and the Line, and so on. And these urban environments are extremely dense, reaching up toward the heavens as well as deep underground. Our CEO recently coined the term arboreal. It's a portmanteau of urban and arboreal. In arboreal environments, vertical travel is constant, and 2D maps no longer make sense. The cities of the future are best understood as volumes, not areas, and require 3D positioning technology that can handle arboreal complexity. Now, you might think, we already have GPS, right? Isn't that sufficient? Well, the truth is, GPS is not sufficient for several reasons. Firstly, it requires line of sight to multiple satellites, which just doesn't exist in arboreal contexts. Too many densely packed, very tall buildings. Secondly, it's not well suited to 3D coordinates. There's no accessible vertical dimension. And thirdly, it's only accurate to several meters, which make it useless for many near future use cases. Devices and people, and especially vehicles, must have very precise understanding of their 3D location in order to navigate safely and effectively. Arboreal environments are also where drone delivery will be most useful, unlocking tremendous efficiency gains and economic opportunities. For example, if you live in a high floor in an apartment building, as millions of people do in these cities, the vast majority of time required for a person to deliver your meal or groceries is spent in the building, waiting for and taking elevators up and down. Kind of mind-blowing. And this may be very different from where you live today, but this is where things are headed in many parts of the world. And for drones to navigate accurately requires a new kind of positioning protocol. And finally, we all know about how bad GPS is indoors, right? It just doesn't work. It's not designed to work without line of sight to multiple satellites. And since it has no vertical dimension, even if it did work, it wouldn't be useful in buildings with many floors, many stories. So for all of these reasons, we're building what we call the Pose Mesh. It's a decentralized positioning service and infrastructure for low latency, collaborative spatial computing. It's designed with millimeter precision, scalability, and privacy in mind. And we believe it's the answer to the complex positioning needs of the emerging near future. So back to why we're speaking with retail audiences. As we've built this spatial positioning substrate over the past couple years, we've spoken with many people from across a wide range of industries. And of all the types of companies we've spoken with, retailers have been the most enthusiastic. And we've realized this is because retailers really understand the critical importance of precise placement of products and information in physical space. Location is everything. Eye level is buy level, and eye level shelf space is very limited. And this shelf space has a high monetary value. Retailers sell this space to brands and manufacturers as a key element of the business model. And promotional information similarly must be attention-grabbing and also competes, therefore, for limited space and shopper attention. For many retailers we've spoken with, the top shopper question is, where is product X? again, pointing to the critical importance of location. In fact, recently I spoke with the leader for in-store customer experience at a large DIY home goods chain in this country, and he said at the beginning of our conversation, 7 out of 10 customers come into my store and this is their question. They don't know where the product is that they're looking for. It's a huge problem for them. And finally, retail media is growing extremely rapidly because of the huge value of meeting shopper intent with actionable information. So the pose mesh enables us to manifest digital information in physical space. Now, this may sound a little abstract. Would it help to illustrate what I mean by this? Thank you, Leslie. So take an empty space, a place of commerce, like a store. In a matter of minutes, and with QR codes as the only required hardware, we install a 3D coordinate system on top of the physical space. Say the space is a grocery store with all the typical shelves and fridge cases and frozen areas and produce displays and checkout. With our coordinate system installed, retailers can start placing digital labels and signage anywhere in the store. So as shoppers move through the store, they have the benefit of precisely located digital information to help optimize their visit, to find what they're looking for, to discover promotions and deals, to get in and out efficiently, whatever is most important to them. So how is this digital information experienced? Well, what would be the best way to manifest this digital information in physical space so that humans can experience and interact with it? I realize at this conference this sounds like a rhetorical question. We believe the answer is AR, augmented reality, and that AR is the inevitable future. You know, just as it was common wisdom in the late 1990s that everything that can be digital will be, we're confident that everything digital that can be more usefully manifested in physical space will show up there. Why this is because so much digital information is more useful when it's physically contextualized. So what does AR need to really take off? I don't believe it requires hardware on most people's faces. If we think about what made the smartphone cross the chasm from niche to mainstream, it was the fact that it became the best way to get important things done throughout the day. And AR will also only fully take off when it becomes the best way to get important things done throughout the day. And for businesses, AR has to demonstrate revenue generation and cost savings and user adoption. And physical retail serves as a natural convergence point for both consumer adoption and business needs. Within physical retail, we believe grocery stores are ideal as a place to reach this tipping point, because around the world, most people visit them multiple times a week, and most are on their phones. I'd like to share a video we shot at a supermarket in Hong Kong a few months ago. It contains actual footage from an earlier prototype of our convergent commerce app. Let's watch and listen.
This is Neil. His husband is planning on making a bolognese tonight and has given Neil a helpful shopping list. To find all the items on his list, Neil scans into the AR layer provided by his store. He can now navigate easily to all the items on his list, reducing his shopping time. But the store can also help make helpful suggestions at the moment of shopping, making sure Neil returns home with everything he needs. Parmesan was not on the list for tonight, but is a must. The AR layer has helped Neil find what he was looking for faster without forgetting anything, and the store got to make personalized and timely recommendations when Neil was the most likely to act. Traditional ads and promotions in the store are unlikely to get the consumer's attention, but augmented reality allows the offers to be based on the consumer's intent, profile, and proximity, making them more relevant and actionable. This is the power of AR. Putting the right information in the right place can radically reduce friction in physical commerce. Contact us today to find out how you can make your physical shopping experience better.
So what is this about? What are the benefits this mode of shopping brings to shoppers and to retailers? Simply put, it's really everything we love about e-commerce. It's discovery, it's search, and it's personalization. And we believe it's inevitable these benefits will show up in physical retail because people want them, and now the technology is mature enough to deliver them. So let's talk about each in turn briefly. The first is discovery. So discovery is about making products and information easy to see, engage with, learn about, take home with you. And again, in a physical store, eye level is buy level, right? And only a small fraction of products can be placed at eye level. But physical placement of digital information can help remove this physical constraint. The second benefit is search. Again, where is product X is often the top shopper question, especially among those questions asked of store staff. Giving shoppers what we might call self-help ability in the store is aligned with the self-checkout trend, empowering the customer while reducing the burden on store staff who often don't have the answers anyway. Google's early billion-dollar insight, we'll remember, was that search keywords that represent things you can buy indicate purchase intent. So meeting shoppers in the moment of purchase intent is enormously valuable. E-commerce does this extremely well. And by combining physical location and context with customer data, physical retail can do this too. So the third benefit is personalization. Now, personalization, when done well with respect for privacy and human needs, is really the holy grail. Isn't it strange in 2023 that whether you're a young hipster shopping for oat milk and avocado and bread for your toast, or a middle-aged parent, quickly grabbing ingredients for tonight's family meal, or an elderly person looking for new products that have lower sodium or that are gluten-free, you all see exactly the same store. Currently, every shopper sees the same merchandise, the same product assortment, the same promotions, regardless of interest, purchase history, demographic, even what the store's first-party data knows about you. And e-commerce is able to tailor what's presented to the shopper based on all of this data. And we want to bring this personalization to the physical store as well. So to bring this all together, this is our vision of the near future of commerce. We're building a platform called Convergent for manifesting digital information in physical space. It's built on the Pose mesh and can be thought of as enabling virtual real estate on top of physical space. It offers retailers a new way to activate first-party data that's barely being utilized today. And this goes beyond what retail media can do today because it can be personalized to each viewer on their personal device. All kinds of information can be placed, from simple text labels to 2D images and 3D objects, whatever's most useful for meeting people and customers where they are in that moment of purchase intent. And we use AR to manifest this information since it's the best available technology for doing this. Now, in the near future, all phones will be AR-enabled, AR-capable. And of course, it seems like we're on the verge of AR glasses, which we expect to be commonplace for everyday use eventually, maybe by the end of this decade. So again, I'll state AR is the inevitable future. Does restating this claim make it more believable? Any skeptics in the room? So we've touched on the practical utility reasons, but people aren't actually predominantly practical or rational, are we? And neither is retail or advertising or many of the purchase decisions we make. What makes something inevitable? Yoko Ono famously said, "A dream that you dream together is reality." Augmented reality, the conjuring of matterless objects into physical space via digital technology, has the potential to bring people into shared vision, into dreaming together. And yet so far, almost all actual AR experiences have been entirely solo, single player, even isolating. At Auki Labs, we believe that reality is shared. In other words, only what we experience together is real. On reflection, isn't that how we know something is real? If we agree that it's there, that we experience it together? Intersubjectivity is the shared experience of reality. And we've realized that shared AR can enhance intersubjectivity dramatically. Ultimately, AR's deep alignment with what makes us human is what makes it inevitable. is the human drive to continually evolve our language and communication, because showing is so much more powerful than telling. And the human need for presence and togetherness. We crave and create shared experience from the earliest moments of life. Reality is shared. Only what we experience together is real. So today, we at Auki Labs are building shared AR to bring people together with what they want and need. And if we look at what commerce really is, and especially what physical retail is, it's essentially bringing people together with the things they want and need. AR is the inevitable future of commerce because it is a big leap forward in doing what commerce already does. And this is happening now because only now is AR and spatial positioning technology mature enough to enable it. So let's take a look together at how this can work in a familiar kind of store. So this is Jennifer. She arrives at her grocery store. She scans the QR code, enters the store, and the digital information that's placed in the space is designed to connect her spatially, experientially, with the things that she wants and needs. So some of these are on her shopping list. Some are suggested by the store, aligned with her new dietary regimen. She's exploring a new vegan diet, a new grain-free diet. So she's getting some almond flour. She didn't know where that is because it's new to her. But she's able to walk through the store, and the store can help her have a kind of soft landing into this new dietary regimen, right? So here's some grapes, here's some grain-free biscuits. Here's a nearby store that also is powered by the same convergent technology that we're building. And this store is very health food focused, so they've got a lot of vegan proteins and vegan ice cream and vegan carrot cake. Sounds kind of good. Milk alternatives. So all of this is a combination of making search and shopping optimization and personalization the kind that we experience in e-commerce part of the physical shopping experience, putting the right information in the right place at the time of shopping. And this reduces what we've come to call time to basket, right? The time between when you're presented or when you have the idea of buying something and when you're actually able to take action on it, which e-commerce does really well. And to use advertising language, of course, this promises to increase the conversion rate from product impression to product purchase in the physical store. Again, connecting people with the things they want and need. So if this is interesting and relevant to your retail business, to the audiences you want to reach, to your brand, the next question is, how hard is this to set up? I mentioned earlier that we can set up a 3D coordinate system in a physical space using only QR codes. Now, this is new. For years, I, along with the rest of the industry, have believed that placing digital information and objects in physical space requires scanning each environment, right, to create a digital twin and uploading that scan to the cloud. And then every time we enter that space again, the camera feed needs to be captured and uploaded to the cloud. There's a machine learning model that recognizes that space and then knows what digital objects to place in that space, right? This is the status quo. It's essentially how Niantic's VPS works, how Google Spatial Anchors works, is what we expect, right? We at Auki Labs are taking a different approach, one that doesn't require scanning of the entire world. We call it matterless domains.
Auki Labs makes augmented reality more accessible than ever. To create your own digital layer on top of a physical space, simply place some lighthouse QR codes around your location to serve as anchors. We recommend placing them frequently so it's easy for everyone to access and recalibrate. Then, measure the distance between the codes using the admin app. The end result is a domain, an empty canvas for you to manifest your knowledge and imagination on, accessible to those you grant permission. What will you make with your matterless domain? Auki Labs. Share your vision.
So it's actually super easy to set up a matterless domain in any physical space. And again, once it's set up, all kinds of information can be placed inside this domain. So why do we believe AR is the inevitable future of commerce? It's the intersection of everything we've talked about. It's commerce is essentially connecting people with things they want and need. Commerce uses information to make these connections. And when information has a physical context, people connect better with it in that context. And finally, the technology has reached sufficient maturity, both in terms of spatial positioning and in terms of AR capability on people's devices, to make this kind of experience possible. But beyond the commercial benefits, we strongly believe that connecting digital and physical, humanity and technology into holistic ecosystems is essential for a thriving future, one in which we understand each other better, understand the things and creatures and ideas and spaces around us better. We're deep into the era of human co-creation with AI. And if AI is going to fulfill its potential in the world, it needs spatial computing to provide the machines it runs on with proprioception, which is the kinetic and interactive understanding of the physical world that we have, that living creatures have. In other words, we're expanding what intersubjectivity means to include AI and machines in the shared experience of reality. The placement and experience of digital information in physical space enables this emerging future of intersubjectivity across species, both silicon-based and carbon-based. And the symbiosis of human technology and nature technology is essential for our thriving, abundant future. I'd like to leave you with this very practical takeaway. E-commerce is growing at 2 to 3 times the rate of physical retail. Why is this? It's because e-commerce puts the right information in front of the shopper at the right time, at the moment of purchase intent. And the right information in the right place at the right time drives the core benefits of e-commerce: discovery, search, personalization. The convergent platform manifests digital information in the right physical place in the store, bringing these benefits to physical retail. So why is AR the inevitable future of commerce? You tell me. Thank you.